para. I'll tell you very briefly what he's saying, and then we'll discuss in detail, because there are some things which are a little puzzling. Like, for instance, he is talking of the negating positives. So what is it meaning? Okay, the divine has got two aspects. One is the impersonal and other is the personal. Okay. Now, the personal is one who has got qualities. You see the divine in a form. He can be kind to you. He can be helpful to you. You see him and he is in a very definite form. But you can also experience the divine in a formless. Okay. So, now this he is linking with determinability and indeterminability. When something is absolutely indeterminable, it has no features at all. Okay. So this is basically the divine has two aspects, as I said, featured and featureless. The one, if you go through bhakti, you have a experience of the divine with its features, with its personal aspect. And if you go through the mind, you normally end up with the featurelessness, because you go to the nirvana, and it's a condition of consciousness but without any features. So this is what he's basically telling you. So when you make your mind silent, you can experience the divine in two ways. You can experience what is the nirguna. Nirguna, guna, qualities. No qualities. I won't use the word quality, I'll say features. Okay, characteristics. So that is the experience of the self. But you can also experience the divine as relating to you and talking to you, just like Ramakrishna had experience of the divine mother talking to him, giving him instructions. So this is the two things. So if you enter into the nirguna, okay, that corresponds to the indeterminables. And if you experience the divine as a person, then that's a saguna. He has got qualities and features, and that is the other aspect, the determinability. So you try and link indeterminable with featurelessness. It's not so difficult to understand that. Okay, that which is indeterminate, that which has got no features, is a nirguna. And if it is nirguna, then it is the infinite, featureless, eternal infinite. Okay, this self. But if you experience him as a person with whom you are talking and all that, he has got features, he has got characteristics. So that's a saguna. And that means he is determined. That which is indeterminable has determined itself into form. So this is basically what he is saying. Again, we can picture it like the seed, which is the condensed form of the indeterminate. Okay, when you blow up the seed, you will not see the features in it. Okay. Even in the human cell, there are chromosomes and all that, but the chromosomes are not going. Can develop into features in the human body. It can become this tissue, that tissue. It can become ears, nose, hair, but all these things. But in the chromosomes, you won't see that. They only hold the potentiality of that. So that's a featurelessness in a condensed form, and the feature, when all those things come out and you take a form, then you are in the determined form. So that's the saguna and the nirguna, and they are all connected, basically. Okay, so now I'll read out the summary to you, and then we will go into detail. Now, but the supermind is beyond these determinations. Why is he saying that? Because in the previous para, I'll read out to you the previous para so that you get the connection. Okay, in the previous para, he has told us that if we pursue the downward manifestation further, we see that this Satchidananda dissolves itself into triads. You remember, he has told you that. Knowledge becomes knower, known, and knowledge. Love becomes love, lover, and the loved. Okay. So that's what he's telling you. These are the features. So exactly in the same way, object, subject, and the relation between the two. So these are the triads that he's talking about. Okay, so the determinable, the chit is the indeterminable. It determines itself into knowledge, knower, and known. And Ananda is the indeterminable. It resolves itself into loved, lover, love. So everything can be seen in that way. So now to continue with the uh, summary of what we have just now read. Okay, so I'm reading out to you. But the supermind is beyond these determination. In the supermind, there is no determination, even though originating and manifesting them. Just like the seed, you will not see the features there, but it has the capacity to develop all the features of the tree. Okay, so the absolute in its aspect of the indeterminable is experienced by man as the immutable, the vacant, the featureless, the infinite, the impersonal, the nirguna, the nirvana. And these Srinath is calling the negating positives. What are the positives of the divine? Features, power, consciousness, knowledge, okay, ananda. These are the positives. But when you go into the nirguna, they all disappear and it becomes featureless. Again, to understand this thing, again go into the fairly good example, but you have to use your imagination. Take the 1 grain of salt. It's got features. It has got taste, it has got size, color, shape, form, weight. Okay, all this is got is the saguna. But you throw that into the water, what happens? It loses all its features. It hasn't got a form, it has not got any, it is everywhere all over, and yet the salt is there. Okay, remember. Okay. So this is the nirguna and the saguna. So this is what Shandu is saying. So the negating positives are the the indeterminables. Those determinations of qualities and forms and weight and size and color all disappear and become infinite featurelessness. So the divine can be experienced in both the ways, featureless and features. Saguna, nirguna. Indeterminable, determinable. Okay. Now the question arises, the indeterminable, okay, is it indeterminate or is it forever indeterminable? You can never know all the features in him. There are two aspects of the divine. Okay, so that he will deal with later. But this is exactly what he's saying in the paragraph. Now, on the other hand, the affirming positives of the absolute are experienced by man as the determinables, the shapes, the forms of the universe, the finites, the features, the characteristics, the personal, saguna, the Ishvara, master of the universe. So you can experience the divine as a king who is ruling his kingdom. That's a personal aspect, the saguna. And you can also experience him as the infinite nirguna. Nobody is there to answer your questions or anything, but you experience peace, calm. You can't even describe it as peace and calm. It is so indeterminable. This is what he's saying. I think it's quite clear, now. The two aspects of the divine. You can experience, normally you experience the saguna through the bhakti, but you can also experience through the mind. If you go and make your mind silent, you go to the indeterminable, you go to the self, which is featureless, the nirguna Brahman. Okay. Now, it is so convincing that people think that that's the only possibility. That's why all these differences of opinion, okay, Sadhguru, Buddhism, Jiddu Krishnamurti, all these people say there is no God. What they mean is that the divine is impersonal only. It's a vastness and a peace and calm. You can experience as Ananda also perhaps, but there is, you can't give features to it. That's what he's saying in the Bible. Now, it's already 8:20. We've got 15 minutes. I think we just got enough time to go through because the language is interesting. For instance, those negating positives. Okay, so we'll understand what he's saying. So I'll go through each sentence and we'll see whether we can understand what he's saying. So at the same time, indeterminability is also a necessary element in the conception of the absolute. I'll stop here. Earlier he has told us that the supermind is featureless And when it starts producing the universe, manifesting the universe, it starts producing determinations of itself. It starts producing the seeds. Just like if you put a seed into the ground, okay, what happens? You give it water and you give it sunlight and all. Slowly, first of all, the stalk comes out. You can see only a small stalk coming out. You don't see the leaves. You don't see the flowers. There's no fruits. But slowly, it goes on. It develops leaves, and finally, even the flowers come up. And one day, even the fruits will come up. And it grows, and becomes. It takes a form, and it's got features, color, shape, and size. So this supermind, when it is coming down and manifesting, it produces determinations. Use the word determinations and equate it with features, okay, qualities. Then you understand what he's saying. Now he is saying, so that is one aspect of the divine. He is producing all the qualities that are there within himself. So, at the same time, now, just a little more detail about that. Suppose he is talking of color, okay? White light becomes all the colors. Then the Ananda becomes so many different types of Ananda, okay? In fact, in the record of yoga, Sri Aurobindo speaks about different types of Ananda. He says there can be Ahaituka Ananda, when without any cause. Haituka Ananda, maybe if you are walking and suddenly you hit something, your door or your table corner or something, it will give you Ananda. A wave of Ananda instead of pain. So Haituka Ananda, Ahaituka Ananda, Sharira Ananda. You will feel the Ananda in the body, or it may be an emotional Ananda, or it may be a mental Ananda. There are so many different types of Anandas. Okay, consciousness also. There can be an animal consciousness, there can be a mental consciousness, there can be higher spiritual consciousnesses. So it produces all these different types of features. Even if you take taste, okay, taste, then you taste only one? Certainly not. There is sweetness, there is bitter, there is sour, there is astringent, there's so many, salty, so many different. So these are the features, and all these features are contained in the featureless. That's what he's saying. Okay. So, at the same time, indeterminability is also a necessary element in our conception of the absolute. Because if you say that the divine has got only features, he is Ananda, he is power, he is consciousness, you are limiting him. So you have no right to limit him because he is absolute, he is limitless. Therefore, he can be the opposite of power, he can be the opposite of consciousness, he can be the opposite of Ananda. So that is the indeterminable is also an aspect of the divine. That's what he's saying. And in our spiritual experience, this is the side of the supramental regard. The word regard here is used in the French way. Regard, supramental regard. Regard means the look. Okay, regard as in French. The supramental regard on being and on things. Okay, I'm pointing that out because usually in English when we say regard, I send you my regards. Okay, my respect. But here it's not being used in that way. He's using it in the sense of regard means to see, okay, the look, the supramental. So the indeterminability is saying that this is the other side of the supramental regard on being and things. Now tell me, what is the supramental regard on beings and things? Beings and things are determinates. So that's the saguna aspect of the divine. But the absolute is not limited. You can also see the nirguna aspect. So I read the next sentence. The absolute is not limitable or definable by any one determination or by any sum of determinations. He can be absolutely beyond all these things. On the other side, it is not bound down to an indeterminable vacancy of pure existence. Neither is he only indeterminable, neither is he only determinable. So those who insist that the divine is a person like a king, okay, creating the universe and ruling it and like a lord, that's one aspect. But if you say that that's the only aspect, you are wrong. He can be absolutely the opposite also. He can disappear into the infinite and only be a indeterminable. That also is possible. So, on the contrary, it is the source of all determinations. So that which is indeterminable, that which is indeterminate produces all determinations. On the contrary, it is the source of all determinations. Its indeterminability is a natural, the necessary condition, both of its infinity of being and its infinity of power of being. Unless it is both, you are limiting him. So this is what Sri is saying. It can be infinitely all things because it is no thing in particular and exceeds all definable totality. It is this essential indeterminability of the absolute that translates itself into our consciousness through the fundamental negating positives. Negating positive means Ananda becomes featureless, consciousness becomes featureless. Power becomes featureless of our spiritual experience. The immobile, immutable self, the Nirguna Brahman. You can he has used the word self, that's why that's it, Nirguna Brahman, and also it's the Nirvana. The eternal without qualities, the pure featureless one, existence, impersonal, the silence void of activities, the non-being, the ineffable and the unknowable. So if you experience him, this is what happens. He is described in great detail. If you think of each one, then we can understand, in spite of not having the experience, we can understand to a certain extent. On the other side, it is the essence and source of all determinations. And this dynamic essentiality manifests to us through the fundamental affirming positives. He has used the word negating positives, and now he is using the word affirming positives. Yes, the divine can be full of ananda, he can be full of consciousness. These are the positives. Okay? He can be full of power. Okay? These are the affirming positives, in which the absolute equally meets us. For it is the self that becomes all things. The self is the seed, and all things are the universe, the tree, if you want. The Saguna Brahman, the eternal with infinite qualities, the one who is the many, the infinite person, who is the source and foundation of all persons and personalities, the Lord of creation, the Word, the master of all works and action. Now suddenly he is using the word word with a W cap. This also, the word is used very often, this word is used for the power of creation, for manifestation. Why? Because suppose you have a thought in your mind and you don't speak it out. Okay? The thought is there in your mind, but you have not manifested it. Nobody else knows what you are thinking. Okay? But now, if I manifest my thought into words, now it becomes manifest. Everybody knows what I'm thinking. It becomes manifested. So, when the supermind is silent and only has the real idea, okay, it is unmanifested. But when it uses its power of expression and manifestation, it is, you can call it the word. In our Indian language, we call it Maya, okay, the power of creation. But the word is exactly that. Just like, just now we discussed it, if a thought is there in my mind, it is unmanifest. If I use language, it's a word. That's why the word with a W cap, all over the world, huh? It's not only in our Indian. The word, when they say, is the power of the divine to manifest. Okay? The master of all works and action. It is that which being known, all is known. Yasmin Vijnate Sarvam Vijnatam. This is, he is giving it from the Upanishads. That which being known, all can be known. These affirmatives correspond to those negatives. So there is a connection between the affirmative and the and the negations. That the seed is produced. The seed itself is the negation of the tree, in a sense, but it produces the tree. So there is a connection between the seed and the tree. The seed is not manifesting. It has the power not to manifest also, but it manifests them, it produces the tree. For correspond to those negatives. There's a connection between them. And that's what he's doing also through all these chapters. He's telling you that Chit Shakti becomes the vital, Sat becomes the matter. So there is a connection that is establishing. Okay. So between the Ananda and the psychic being and supermind and mind. These are the connections. Correspond to those negatives. For it is not possible in a supramental cognition to split asunder the two sides of the one existence. Even to speak of them as sides is excessive, for they are in each other. Their coexistence or one existence is eternal, and their powers sustaining each other are found the self-manifestation of the infinite. The word found, make a foundation. So the supermind is the foundation, is the source of the universe. That's what he's saying. I'm sorry because I made a fool of myself today by muting. I had actually my volume control, I had made it 0 because I was watching a video and it was too loud, so I reduced it. So it remained reduced. That's why you could not hear me, or rather, I could not hear you. Okay. I'm sorry, but we could do only one para today. But tomorrow we can do the next one. Okay? But neither is the separate cognition of the entirely illusion. So we'll stop here today. We've got 3 minutes. If any questions are there, we can discuss it. Okay. Otherwise, we can even stop if necessary. But the idea is clear, na?
Yes.
Yeah. The indeterminable and the determinable, features and featureless. Okay. Saguna, nirguna. The divine in form and the divine without form. That's right.
Hello.
So, yes, tell me.
It's said that what Sri Aurobindo has written down in the books is like very, very little compared to his knowledge which he had.
Yes.
So I can't even imagine the knowledge he had, because what he's written is like just a few drops of the ocean.
Absolutely.
And that is also so complicated.
Yes.
And so difficult to understand. And I think he had to really come down to our level and make it as simple as possible. But that simplicity of his is also too complicated for us, at least for me.
No, it is difficult, it's true. But
absolutely right, yes.
Let me mention one thing, okay? He had revised in the 1940s. He passed away in 1950. In the 1940s, he revised Life Divine and added many chapters and expanded chapters, and Savitri also. But he did not touch synthesis. Okay, synthesis remained
edited.
Yeah, unedited, not edited, but uncorrected.
Revised.
Yeah, he did not review it. Okay, and when he was asked, he said, oh, "Why don't you do it now?" He said, "Oh my God, I'd have to rewrite the whole thing and totally different." That means my knowledge has gone so far beyond the what I had written earlier that it is there. Okay, so this is very interesting because there is a phrase in English which tells you this. Okay, it says consistency. Okay? When you are consistent with yourself, okay, in the normal human mind and normal human consciousness, consistency is very essential, because what you say today, you must stick to that tomorrow also, but not in the spiritual field, because if you are doing that, then you are limiting yourself. So the phrase in English goes, consistency is the quality of, is a hobgoblin of small minds. Those who are very limited can be consistent, but those who are into the infinite and going on every day experiencing something new, how can they be consistent? They are going far beyond their consistent knowledge. That's what Shavda said. So this phrase in English corresponds to that. Consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds. When you are very, very limited, yes. Shavda knew so much, my God, unbelievable. Okay.
Because the soul power, no? He means once you realize your soul, as you told, once one person has just for a split second or something, he realizes his soul. And he said that he has a 10,000 times more knowledge. So, the comparing to that, sharing those knowledge is incredible. Of course, definitely. It's more,
Yeah.
no, more than 10,000 times.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm very sorry again for today's blunder. Okay.
No need to sorry,
Rangada.
Rangada.
Thank you so much.
Can I say
Thank
something?
you so much.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Why didn't Sri Aurobindo simplify it a little more for us? How mother speaks. Why couldn't he come down to a little more lower level for us to understand?
Okay. There's a different, that's exactly determinability and indeterminability. Okay. So the vastness of his language is global. So mother's language is simple, but therefore it is not philosophical. Let's be clear on that. Okay. Mother is very explanatory. But you have to go far beyond the words to understand what mother is saying, because she says it in the simplest possible way. That is one way of expression. But the other way of expression caters to those who are always questioning, and all their questions will be answered if you go from that point of view. But if you read only mother, many questions can remain. Okay, if you are a very, very questioning type of person. I'm using the word questioning, but you can also be an intellectual type of person. Many aspects of the truth will be expressed in that. Sri Aurobindo is dealing with that. That is why it is so wide. Okay. It is not an incapacity. In fact, one day someone used the word global, and Sri Aurobindo liked the word very much. He says, yes, that word is wonderful, very nice. His whole knowledge and his writing is global. It's not focused. He In fact, let me tell you something interesting. He says about the Western quality and the Indian qualities, okay? He says that the Westerners are very, very precise in details, okay? So, and they are like small merchants sailing their vessels on the shore of the ocean, okay? They are always, and they're putting up into ports and transacting their business, okay? Selling goods and taking goods. This is said in the philosophy of the Upanishads. But the Indian mind is like the explorer on the wide sea. He is not interested in the shores. He is not interested in small ports. He is interested in the infinite ocean, and he goes out into the middle of the ocean. This is what he's saying. So you can apply this also to the explanations of mother in small, very clear passages, and swim those explanations on a wide scale. That's why it becomes difficult for some minds to understand. Okay. Both are valid. So you can't say that this is not valid and that is valid. No, both are valid. The indeterminable is valid as well as the determinable is valid.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Au revoir, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Rangada.